set your microphone. Alright, okay.
Okay, yep, it's working now. With the video capture device is working. Okay, sorry about that, guys. My computer went through an update this morning, and apparently it didn't, yeah. Jake says, ew, Shane. But yeah, apparently it reset my settings for my mic, so fun times there. All right, we're gonna go English subtitles. Just gotta have subtitles. We are back. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties in the beginning. No, I've never played this before. All right, so slide the adjust until the computer is barely visible. I'm just gonna go with that because I'm really bad at seeing shit anyway. Please enter, like, the time? Seriously? Okay. 12:04. Can I not go to PM? There it goes. All right, 12:04 PM. This is weird. Accessibility settings can be accessed from the main menu. Okay. What am I getting into? All right. Begin the game. The end is never. Okay.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
It is voiced. Cool.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk,
How he
telling
presses
him
the
what
buttons is
buttons to
driving me
push,
batty.
how long to push them, and in what order.
Oh.
This is what employee
Never
427
mind.
did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Is Stanley a robot?
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay. All right, let's see. Move this. I'm assuming that's interact. The camera is very, very quick. Can't actually see anything. Wait. Recommendations from the Oversight Committee. Yeah, this would be a boring ass life. It's giving you the show Pushing Daisies. I don't know what that is. So I guess that's also, does the time match our time? It does not. Okay. I was about to say, if I put in our time and the clocks match our time, I'm gonna be okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay,
No matter
Mondays.
how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Oh, I turned that off. If this is how we left the office, it's a problem. Also, where's the meeting room?
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office,
Okay.
but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Okay. I'm being bullied. How to use help window. Okay. Oh, some of these rooms look wild. But I can't get into any of them. Okay. How far away is this meeting room?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
That shut
he
behind
entered
me.
the door on his left.
Oh. Now I really just want to enter the one on the right, but I do like going left. But it told me to go left, so now I don't want to.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Okay.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Is it because I fucked with the drink thing? Okay.
Yeah, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I kind of want to go in there.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on
But there's
track.
a big red button! I'm gonna refuse to go by anything it says. Wait, what? Okay.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
Okay then.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now,
Not a fan of
let's
this.
see, we went down, right, left,
the fuck?
down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Oh, that's sketchy. I'm about to get ran over. Okay. Didn't sign up for this. I mean, I guess I did. I literally didn't want to listen. Oh.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Okay. My favorite room, well, second favorite, I chose this. Okay. Well,
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
nothing big seems like it's changed.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere.
Me describing a
Okay,
room in
then.
D&D.
It's an adventure. Come,
Oh.
Stanley. Let's find the story.
I want to jump over the chairs. Is that an option? Damn it. Oh, I'm a left person. We're going left. There's the chairs. This is the leftest I can go. The left. Inner guilt. Everyone knows what you did. They're just holding back to let you torture yourself. Maybe this wasn't the right way. Okay. Alright.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
What the fuck? How many times am I gonna get sent through here?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Okay.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had
I have to,
simply
like,
missed a
wait
memo.
on them? Okay. Also, why are there so many I Hate Monday mugs? Oh. That is a blank ass room. But there's...
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
The fuck? Okay. A pity dose before stream, I get it. Also, what game is this? You do whatever you want. I see that. Yeah, because it's not going to let me do anything anyway. Pity dose, the Stanley Parable, Ultra Deluxe. The Callistus. Oh no. Alright. Well, let's go back the way we came, I guess. Did anything change? Still says that. Okay.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
Okay. Say
No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
The fuck am I doing? Nope, life's too short. I like the blue room better. No sleep. I get a little upstream goes.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this?
Restart.
You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Okay. The adventure line? They said you went off track. Here are the rails. Okay.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
What the fuck? This room was locked. Jake, I found your office. It doesn't look like you're doing very well right now.
You see, the line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there?
You were distracted. It was
Or to put it
solitaire.
another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree
I wish
that
you
the
could
nature
draw
of
a line
existence is
straight,
in fact
'cause-
a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience
Someone
of
is
this
not
office,
well.
is
Gonna
this
try to
office in
sleep.
fact
Bye.
the
Yeah,
skeleton
Karma,
of my
get some
own
rest.
relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
What the fuck? Why is this getting weirder? This is just someone's subconscious telling them what to do. This is just him. But like, with really ADHD brain going on or some shit, because I can tell you I play music in my head all the time. Why is that just that one employee's peer reviews? Bro, they got a lot to say about you. How long does the music
Got the music.
last? Okay,
Go
thank
back
you.
and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Okay, yeah, I don't believe that. Yeah, I believe that, but I don't believe that.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No, no, no. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
I feel like this is just my brain most days. Oh, we're back here again.
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
What the fuck, guys, am I doing right now? Try to catch up on chat real quick before I start going wandering around again. Dear insomnia, bad case of it. No, I wasn't ready for whatever the fuck this is. It really just feels like my brain most of the time. Like when you see me start doing one thing and then get distracted by like, ooh, shiny color. Like the fucking lines on the walls, that's my brain. And insomnia is rough. Now outside of sleeping medicine, it's pretty hard to get past it. Hopefully you get some sleep. Yeah, hopefully you get some sleep, Karma. Okay. Look, I can't keep my life on track, so I am not following this line. No? No words this time?
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Okay, he's telling me to go to the right this time? Okay.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to
These are
be?
such blank
Go wild.
holes.
Use your imagination. Whatever it might
I'm
be,
spiraling.
Stanley, I'm
Jesus
ready for it.
Christ. Okay. Bro.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Just don't acknowledge it. It's literally going the only way I can go. What the fuck? Okay.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute.
Oh.
Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin.
Pacing
So
while
starting
thinking.
from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
I'm worried this is going to go away when I end up in the monitor room. Narrator restarts the game. First restart. Discover the 2 doors. Room is now additional doors. Aimlessly wandering. Narrator restarts the game. Second restart. Office is dead end. Turn around. Okay. Third restart. Adventure line. Nonsense. Philosophy and music. Fourth restart. Narrator forgets about previous restarts. Stanley attempts to play the story but is prevented. Unable to go anywhere. Game restarts on its own. Find the line again. Begin following the line. An identical replica of the office has begun to deteriorate. Okay. 8th restart.
Oh,
Narrator
hold
is
up,
gone.
what's this?
Oh.
The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Okay. And we've restarted again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley
Okay, he's
decided to
talking
go
to
to
me
the
again.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ever.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Fine, I'll listen to you this time.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Fired.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office,
Life.
hoping he might find an answer there.
Solve a dispute with a coworker. Let him pull up inside you. Take it out passively aggressively on other coworkers. Resent coworkers for not supporting you more. Using slides to assure employees that everything is okay. Make sure your slide has a slick blue graphic on the header and throw some. Okay. You, most of all. Ever. Number of slides. The slide charts, slides, charts and slides. What do people want? Things. Violet James, you're fired. What does that say? Happy feelings. Violet James, you're fired. Money, more money, things, but why? But with money to buy more things. Graphs about things and money. We have our new product.
How long is this going to take?
As long as I want to explore ever. Fuck you. Stock market is here somewhere. Colored and segment stripes required. What is hot? Profits. By quarterly post review. We need happiness again. No, more or less. Less reviews. Okay. Do not alter without consulting whiteboard manager. Okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Executive bathroom. Why is it so fancy? The beige pages.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Where the fuck did the passageway? Did I like miss where it opened? Oh. Oh. Nah, just you, Ever. Red button. Press. I would die for red buttons in the dark, I'm just saying. Going red button, I'm gonna press it. Is it reloading?
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Bitch, I ain't getting back in that elevator, fuck.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Nah. We're gonna follow the creepy thing.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
No. I am committing.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Oh, it really is just...
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his
Oh.
demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't
I'm not
see
like-
the bigger picture. He doesn't know the
Walk
real
on the
story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world
Family
is.
friendly, you said.
Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Squish.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
That's always a woman, guys.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game,
God
back
damn
in
it.
his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When
Credits.
every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Yeah, it's Jake's computer, see? Oh, I turned off your game. Boop. Oh, only 1 and 2 work. I'm so confused. Pull the lever, Kronk. Oh. Oh.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Bonk.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this game.
Is it really one of these
As
kind of
long as
games?
you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path.
Nah, I guess.
Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Split. What the fuck? Do we have the guy voice again?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Yeah.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Didn't go this way this time. No! Not the pandas! The pandas.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it
Feels
mean?
like it means different this
Stanley
time.
wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Okay, so we're gonna go straight this time. And not do the thing that I did last time. Mind control
Stanley
room,
walked
here
straight
we go, I
ahead through the
guess.
large door that read Mind Control Facility.
When death is your only escape. Is this just the monitor room?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Employee observation protocol.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
This is gonna go poorly. It's not the big ass console I was just at. Air console. No. Facility power. You know, just the giant door with the light over it. Hello. Thank you for the lurk. Mind controls idle, awaiting input.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Still being narrated. Cry. Also, this is not how we walk into
Stanley
nature.
felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Wow. I also love how that's just a, like, common-ass trophy. Get your first trophy. No! Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
3 hours later.
left.
Ever. Pity trophy. Look, I ignored it for the
This
first
was not
good
the
bit.
correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by
What?
the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
Well,
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
did I go this way last time? I didn't go this way last time.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Disrespect your surroundings.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Oh,
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
this is the other narrator?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Is it because I don't like to listen? Did you tell me to take out the trash?
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Oh. Good morning. Press on your controller. I don't like that you're telling me to do that. But there's nothing else for me to do.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
Pressing the wrong button
Now
doesn't do
he's
anything.
pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Yeah, pressing other buttons doesn't do anything.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth.
No.
The thought excited him terribly.
Don't send me back. Spend time with the boys. Boys. Okay.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean
Sorry,
something
got her big
was
one
almost
shot.
too
Cool.
wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this
Oh.
fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one
is
path
slowly
lay an
becoming
enormous
obvious,
round
isn't it?
room
Yeah.
with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many
TM.
directions.
Yellow line TM.
And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Oh.
But there is no answer.
Yep.
How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Could not just pushing something work? Because I pressed other shit. It doesn't work. How long will you last? I have no idea. How long is it going to make me sit here like this? That's the question. I don't have the attention span to not press the button. How long does it make you wait? The clock would have broke me. You have no idea how, like, actually upsetting this clock is right now. For different reasons, but... If there was a button to just like slam everything off this desk right now, do something, I would. But instead, we. How long will you make me wait? Ever. I didn't think to like not press anything. That like thought through my head was press like the opposite button or press like something else on the keyboard. Did you startle me? No. A fucking clock's gonna try. Let's use the. Really? You're gonna have him use the points on me? You're using the points through his fucking shit, aren't you? Monster. He's in the room. Rude. As like a person who's supposed to be doing a thing, I'm gonna go crazy. I hate this. There's no way this is actually what I'm supposed to be doing. Focus on chat. Love us. Shane, you have no idea. Like, this used to be the only sound I could hear in my dad's house, okay? So, like, it was... this is actually upsetting. But, like, the button... You can send me a video of my dog whining. How long does it make me wait? Is this even actually an option? Okay, is this even actually an option to like... Oh, fucking... This is not something to hear when you're tired. It's been a minute, right? That's the thing, though. I feel like it's either gonna, like, fucking tease me when I come back and they're like, oh, you waited? Or... or it's just gonna... I'm just gonna have to press the button. The dog video? No, I'm good. If I wanted to know what real life work felt like, I could have stayed at work today. Change. I do and don't want a spoiler. I feel like because the narrator is the one who mentioned it, that, like, I literally can't do anything. And he's going to be like, oh, you tried, huh? Like, I feel like there's going to be some smart-ass remark if I press the button. But at the same time, I'm really fucking curious if this works. But, like, what do? Walk away from stream and just be like, yeah, I made chat wait long enough while staring at a clock or chilling in this room. Like, what are you supposed to do? But you mentioned this shit, like, apparently gives you a trophy for not playing for a year. Like, I don't know what and what isn't fair in this game, okay? I just feel bad because I'm like, this is the least interesting play. Like, if I came to this, I'd be like, okay. I didn't pay attention to the time. Or do you mean 4 IRL hours? I might die.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
You said 4 IRL hours. I was like, nope. Press to question nothing.
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply
I'm
play
not
to
gonna
my
sit here for
intended
4
purpose,
hours and
the
like
same as
make y'all
Stanley.
sit here and
We're
look
not
at
so
nothing.
different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Please
And
stop.
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
What the fuck? Oh, not for 4 hours. I'm too tired for that shit. Look, I love y'all, and I'm sure I could, like, keep up with that, but, like... Excuse me, I have a voicemail. Okay. Oh.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The office is different. Okay, we're skipping straight to this room? Is it because I don't
When
listen?
Stanley came to a set of 2
Oh,
open doors,
okay.
he entered the door on his left.
Not a fan. No, have I done everything on the right, though? Because I don't think there was any extra options for places for me to go on the right. Which means I gotta go left.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his
I hadn't tried
boss's
to
office.
open the broom
Stanley
closet
stepped
yet.
into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
There really nothing here. Sadness.
Coming to a
downstairs this
staircase,
time.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Just waiting to find like something that just says like help me.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy,
There is.
why had he taken that risk?
There
All
wasn't
because he
anything to interact
believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Oh, what?
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
We're not okay. Also, I'm still in this goddamn hallway.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Bonk.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Okay.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, For just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
That's how we get chased by the police, ma'am. Sees body, turns, runs. Okay. Here we are again.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. No, the orders were still missing. For now.
Nothing? Okay, this is back to normal. I wonder where I'm supposed to go, guys. Do you think it's over here? Do you think the new content's over here?
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
So meta. Also, why can't I go around? Here we go.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
So I
Oh,
guess
well, this
is where
sounds
you
delightful.
guys get new stuff.
I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Is it the same fucking four walls? Do we get We Hate Tuesday cups? Like, that seems safe.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Well, it's not moving. Hello?
Is it broken?
Yep.
What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or oh, here we go.
Well.
All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it.
Is this one of the ones that open the backside after you've, like, gone up?
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
A jump circle?
All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Why? Why? Why is this a thing?
Still got 20 more jumps.
I know. I don't trust it. It's cardio, guys. a trophy for that.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Oh, hey, another creepy elevator.
Goodness, another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there.
I'm pretty sure
Hell,
it's more
I
than
could
20.
count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The
I swear to God,
Stanley
if there's a
Parable
box that
Ultra
said jump
Deluxe,
30 trillion
now with
times,
over
I'd die.
1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Thank you for enjoying the new content.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan
Hello,
base
welcome
rush
in.
a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's trophies, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game?
Okay.
And we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks.
Oh,
Just
no.
you and me having a great time together like always.
Might just have to go.
What do you
jump
say,
3 times.
friend?
Okay. Yeah, welcome in. This is my first time playing Stanley Parable. It's something. Also, this is different already. Okay. Does this game even have an ending goal? I downloaded it because it was free and looked it up on Twitch, and here I am. I have no idea. This is my first time playing it. I had it recommended. Yeah, it's a weird one. That is the original office. Yeah, oh.
Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
There were vent thingies on the wall earlier, but fuck it, we'll go. Yeah, welcome in. Oh, that's... Okay. Guess we just follow voices in our head through vents now. This is...
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be.
Okay.
So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it.
Why
Just
is this so
our
medieval
little
looking?
secret. Take a look.
You're not medieval. Alright.
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences
I get to
like the
touch
launch
grass.
of the Stanley Parable on PC.
The memory zone. Okay.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of
Regular
how
Wednesday afternoon,
wonderful
listening to
Stanley
voices in
Parable
my head
was
walk.
before it was
Right.
sullied with a cheap PlayStation port? Remember
Oh.
back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Good times. Ah, yes, good times. The original remake. Okay. Hey guy, it's very much appreciated for stopping in. Smile because it happened. Okay, a trip down memory lane. Oh, not the CD guys. All right. The dollar. Demonstration. Unachievable. It's impossible to get this achievement. Go outside. Don't play for 5 years. Okay. New video game releasing today. Creators surprisingly down to earth. College show. Stanley Parable deals tough choices. Yep, I just did that one. Can I sit here? Is that an option? No. How dare you?
Je suis dans la mémorise
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes,
yeah, you do what you want. I completely ignored them in the
games
beginning.
aspire to be more than
I
games, end
went
up
opposite
less than
directions
any
and
form
stuff.
of art. Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created. Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim. It was
not
Persona 3. It was all of them. And now, it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Yeah, no, I pretty much downloaded it for the same reason. It was recommended to me, and it was also free on Memory Zone Maintenance. Nope, can't go in there. Okay. You're playing Stanley Parable. That's creepy.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of
definitely
choice
wild.
in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the PlayStation. Boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling with a beloved franchise.
I can't go through the serious room.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back to have it all over again.
Where do I go then? If I can't go through there, I just leave through the door I came through? Oh, it's open now.
Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
Drinks everywhere. Pressurized gas.
Oh no, oh God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games. I haven't looked at these in years. Been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Not recommended.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny,
Steam.
with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Would you like the voice actor for the narrator though? The narrator's pretty great. Oh, can't read those.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy, honestly.
Oh yeah,
you
thank you
can.
for the follow.
Oh,
I couldn't hear it
goodness.
at the moment
This is
because of
actually
the
quite shocking
game.
for me.
I appreciate that, Everett.
I always, well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Dear,
Only in the
what
first
an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley parable
talks a
isn't quite as
lot.
sterling as I always remembered.
I didn't realize it would quite be this, like, I do a lot of, like, cinematic games, but most of them have moments where, like, I can, like, chat with chat and everything, and I'm just sitting here, like, I keep glancing over, and chat was, like, just conversing with themselves earlier. I was like, okay, I'm glad y'all are doing that, because, like, I can't get a word in over this guy, or I missed something. Oh, well, we're going that way, but just make sure there's nothing we can interact with anywhere. Not recommended.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of
Facts.
what's happening. I wish there was a skip button.
Oh.
A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes,
it
a
building the
skip
office
button
back around
we
me?
shall have.
No. Okay. Oh, it's giving me the skip button. Okay.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it is, so on and so
but he
forth,
got a whole
until
other voice.
inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so, now you see, blah, 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 blah.
We'll skip.
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the
They changed
nature
voice
of
on me.
choice in video
Had
games.
to.
Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound...
Holy cow, what is going on right now?
Well,
I have
there's
no
sport.
idea.
You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the
Oh,
button.
God.
The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks.
Just now, every time the button pops up.
Hello, it's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had...
That's great. Voice. I know I'm supposed to press it again, but like... Oh, shit's dying in here. That one's down. That's no longer there. That beep is awful, though.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But
Here we
where
go
are the
again.
jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little
how much
thumbs
they have
down
to
review
actually
and make
prep.
all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much.
I wonder how much they actually, like, had him ramble on before you could press that. I felt bad, now I wish I had... You get what you want.
The end is never the end, is never the end, is
Oh,
never the
okay,
end.
that's what it
is
keeps
never
saying across the thing.
end, is never the 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 end.
3 hours later.
Yeah, Aldras. One day it will free me from here. Is there actually something I can go behind here? Nah. Okay. So we continue. Oop. Oh, okay. We're really gonna die in this room. It's nice times. Dwarf Slayer? Oh, now you're gonna say Slayer. Okay. Aldraz, I hope you remember this when you play Ico for us later. Not even any voice anymore. I'm about to say, is this the fern I was promised? Is this freedom? Eventually being stuck in a dwarf. Oh. Well. Freedom! Not freedom? Where's the grass I was promised to touch? Nope, I guess I get to leave there and die in the desert. Of very similar things. Doesn't really feel like I'm getting much farther away. Oh God. Okay. I was about to say it wasn't right there a second ago.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Welcome back,
Stanley
narrator.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Did your thing say something different? Username, access, the current time. I don't know. He makes you think you go insane. He does. New content? Do we get distracted by the new content, guys? It's got a neon sign. We must go.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
It's the new content. Gotta have the new content. Because the old new content's just not enough, you know? Ah, yes. The elevator. Another elevator.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the
I
Stanley
did limit the
parable
hydrates, by
and
the way.
about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley parable was a landmark. and any new content for it should live up to that legacy.
I stream
So forget
Dead by
this
Daylight.
ultra-deluxe
I stream
nonsense.
cozy
I
games.
say we
I
take it
do
one step
kind of like old school
even
Saturday
further.
games.
Which
so
is
like
why I'm very
Nintendo
proud to
64,
announce for the first
Switch
time
games,
ever the Stanley Parable 2.
Stanley Parable 2. I stream Pokemon games. I stream a lot of stuff. I'm a big variety streamer. So, yeah, currently Saturday is Ocarina of Time. Tuesday
Yes, you see,
is Echoes of
isn't
Wisdom.
This far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all
never-
the new territory we'll cover
Games never
with a
end
fully
again.
fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
They upgraded the computers, y'all. But yeah, I do Dead by Daylight like 2 days a week
Calling
and stuff.
it the
'cause
Stanley
that's like
Parable
the thing
2
that
is just so much
most people come
catchier than
taste the
Ultra Deluxe,
sequel.
don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable
And instead
2,
of having pictures,
now
we have
that's an
just
artistic
photos pulled up.
statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
They're back. 2 doors. New content is out. New content part 2 is in. Old and busted. New hotness. Cool red section of the chart. Oh, my cat's about to visit y'all. I apologize. Are you coming? Come on. Come on. Is it because I brought it up that you were coming? Come on. Come on. There's plenty of room for you to jump. Thank you. Oh. That's awesome. You streamed some Call of the Wild, The Angler, and some. Recently been streaming Sea of Thieves. Oh, nice. You know, I stream all kind of stuff. Oh, hello, baby. Are you wanting pets? Oh, hold on, guys. I'm gonna take just a second to, I guess, show off my cat because she wants to be shown off. This is Constance. She's a brat and a princess. And she's falling. Are you good? Okay. Well, she's gonna chill on the back of the chair, I guess. All right. One more teaspoon. Better teaspoon. Win-win. Sequential mind share. Paradigm shifts. Synergy. Brick and mortar approach. Envelope client-centric marketing. The color red. Glass doors that I can't open. Okay. Sea of Thieves is really fun. Your streams are 18 plus. Nah, we...
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Okay, but yeah, mine are mostly 18 plus. I do cuss a lot, and most of the games I play are mature rated, or most, I say some. I'm playing Zelda and stuff right now, so not really all of them. New content, new features. Can't get on the bus. But, you know, what the fuck am I? You're definitely a hooligan. But yeah, no, we actually are doing a drinking game tomorrow on Dead by Daylight, so.
Try out some of the new features.
Tomorrow. I got my days wrong. Friday. They'll be drinking, not me. But merch. I saw the new content. The end is never the end. This shirt is the best new feature. Get out. Office decorations, Stanley Parable. Reassurance bucket. The button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. What? Hear your name in the game. The button that says the name of the player playing the game.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself,
Road to the perfect
what
button.
do players really
Too small,
want?
too big.
And of course,
just right.
the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people.
The bucket.
So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button, which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that one? Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
Simply become
I
a
want you to
person named
imagine
Jim.
yourself living as Jim.
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first.
Catch.
Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Imagine yourself driving to work
Why
as
didn't they
Jim,
forward?
playing frisbee on the weekends as Jim,
Oh, 'cause there's two Bs.
staying up all night for a popcorn and horror movie sleepover as Jim, developing a crippling substance addiction as Jim, rediscovering yourself through fringe religious groups as Jim, and finally dying a slow death at an old age, surrounded by members of your cult as Jim.
I am Jim.
All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a
I did
different
hydrate
feature
the
that I
2
worked
times.
very hard on?
I think you put. Because I also warned you that I. Yeah, do you like the new emotes? I put in new emotes. Or I got a spot for 2 more, so.
Maybe I'll only let people named
All right,
Jim
Shane
play
is
the
really
Stanley
excited.
Parable too. They would appreciate what I've created here.
All right, so the bucket is this way, Shane. Wait, the bucket's that way. No screenshots. What's that way then? Office decorations, maybe? Because this looks like the way to the bucket, right? You love them? I figured we need a little more
complaint
chaos.
of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm
Oh,
and ease
okay.
will fill your mind and
Okay.
your heart. It's true.
So they're going to put it where we can't grab it?
Onto the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms.
But we can't
And to
get
be
a hold of the bucket?
honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable.
Hold on,
Can you
hold on.
imagine what a pain in the ass
I
that
got a
would
sound
be?
for this
Yes,
moment.
the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Up. Where is it? Where's my favorite thing? Shane, where is it? It's taking me too long to find it to be happy with this.
This is a
There
bucket.
we go. Thank you.
Dear God. There's more. No.
All right.
Can you feel it?
Why is there
The
green
glow
flag
of
in the
comfort,
bucket?
even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they?
I'd like to put the bucket down.
All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Is it just mine now? Well,
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
it's the most important.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Fucking get well someday, I guess. You're not letting me through? Oh, Get well someday. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece. Get well
You know,
someday,
sometimes when
thanks.
you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece it is.
Okay. All right. Oh, yep, because that really brightens up the office, you know?
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No.
Oh.
No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
Free new and easy trophy. This one sounds like the pity trophy ever. It just works. I can't believe it's that simple. Is it you thought there was a trophy? Free trophy. Get it right now. Pull the lever. Receive your new trophy. No more steps. It works.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it... Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously
Impossible to get
demanding
trophy.
this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
All right. That's definitely something. There was not a pity trophy. It's a joke about a pity trophy that you will not be getting.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Okay. Oh, not again.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle. Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
Alright. Collectibles. Like this bucket? Can you find them? Can you find them? Can you find them? Collect them all. Ooh, stars.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward
That's
for collecting
terrifying.
all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Okay.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it.
Jump circle.
Absolutely
This map.
tragic.
Free trophy. The button that says your name. Merch. Settings. World champion. Fuck, there's stuff I haven't done. I got the bucket. Did the office decorations. Epilogue collectibles. Infinite hole. That sounds like the way. That's completely blocked off. What about this one? Exit. But we haven't found the infinite hole yet. It's K. K is there. We didn't do the epilogue either. Oh, this is merch again. I am lost. Lost is me. Have a map. Am lost. I'm talented. Came up from that way.
There's a big sign that says infinite hole.
Where's the infinite? Oh. Shh. I totally saw that. No screenshots. Oh, that's area still. Boop. I'm very concerned that this is way too honest about it. Infinite hole chart. Hole, depth, space, more hole, science, infinity, falling, educational use only.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
But I want to meet science, and science is down this hole.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Jumps back down hole. Very tempted to just jump back down the hole. No? No? Are we gonna change the music? Alright, so we've done all that. So I think exit, unless there's something up here. That's new.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
You heard Jim in the game. They changed it, the button that says Jim. Okay. And the exit that way, so what is up here? Settings world champion. Wow. I really don't understand why I'm just doing with a bucket, but this is my life now. Me and the bucket.
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
I think so. I don't like that we're going back to the office, but you know. Nope.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
That's definitely
Who
worse.
am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I I suppose it could, but it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Oh, God. Ah, yes. The title screen. Okay.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427.
This wasn't what I expected when you said reach the second one.
Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push.
It's in the fucking closet,
how long
isn't
to
it?
push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did
Room closet.
every day,
It's gotta be where it would be.
every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his
Me
office.
thinking the intro would be slightly different. It is not. It is not. Except for the balloons. Because having a bunch of happy 12th birthday step-niece.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh. Bucket found.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Don't know why you want me to have said bucket. But I'm now holding a bucket and taking it to the meeting room.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now. It's a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket. I know how hard it must be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend. You can't hand it over. Oh, no. We're getting into name-calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom closet has sunk that it has to resort to this stream of petty Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Stanley and the bucket. It's my new best friend, apparently. Alright, boss, this is Bucket. Bucket boss. Actually. I can't even open that now.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him, always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk.
Oh.
Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845.
Maybe you're not even supposed to notice it.
But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Well,
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
creators had fun with this. That's what I'll say. They had fun. And the voice actor, like, just being able to do 1 to 2 if they were actually separate games, like, fully.
The
at some
elevator
point.
raced downward,
And just
plummeting
adding bucket
towards an unknown
comment.
fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket.
Not for the
Soothing him,
bucket.
comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right.
Thank you,
The
bucket.
bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Shane, I don't need a relationship. I need a bucket. Welcome in. Hi. We're doing
Stanley and the bucket
Stanley
walked straight
Parable
ahead through the
with a
large
bucket.
door that read Mind Control Facility.
bucket run. Okay. Bucket run.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Stanley and the bucket. Oh my god. Okay.
The
Ah,
monitors
yes.
jumped to life,
Traumatizing.
and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock.
Not the bucket.
Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into
They're their
tears
bucket.
as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything
The
would
bucket
be
is my
fine.
wife now, okay? That's what this is saying. Oh my god, is the bucket gonna be my wife? Am I gonna get to that scene that's just the bucket? Oh my god. Please
Was
be
the
the
bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well?
No.
Had the bucket been
Buckets.
told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place?
Oh, poor
These
thing.
questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
This feeble little mind can't
No!
control.
He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no
He
one,
can trust no one
except
except the
for the
bucket.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
Only bucket could.
For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
I fucking can't.
bucket waited in blackness. Was it over?
Oh my god.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth.
Oh.
Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support.
Did the door just get jammed?
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
Hello?
An unbearable silence filled the room.
Can I throw a bucket
lingering
coon and
in
give him freedom?
uncertainty. Until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket.
No!
Needed the soothing
Bucket
warmth
needs
of the
freedom.
bucket. Will go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room.
That's
But
okay.
at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Alright, so what I'm hearing is we have to escape the other way with Bucket Coon. Bucket Coon!
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Oh,
Stanley
okay.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
thank
he had
you.
simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
That's a lot. A lot of the end is never the end, you know? It's okay, Bucket Coon.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Awaiting input. Can I actually put anything in? No.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his
What happens if I
left.
can give it to the closet? Can I give it to the closet? Is it actually an option? Oh. Oh. Somewhere both red and blue. A private but smelly place for an important person. I know where that is. Trust the completionist instincts. Ficklies are hard to find. Okay, you know what?
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the
Can I not
bucket.
actually give it to
You
him?
can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now.
We're
It coming to a
upstairs.
staircase,
So I'm
Stanley and the bucket walked
downstairs.
upstairs to the boss's
Somewhere
office.
that's both blue and red.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Hate it. Alright, so we're gonna go back up here. Because the boss's office bathroom has one.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines. And now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think,
hate it.
Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1. Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Okay. What are the other hints for the thingies? A blue and red room. And oh wait, I can't go back. Okay, we'll just try it on here then.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley.
Oh, we're sleeping again.
Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all.
No.
That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort.
No.
And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd.
Did I drop the bucket?
And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him. Stanley! Stanley, it's me! The bucket!
This isn't how I expected.
Could it truly be?
Bucket
He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket
Two
after the
buckets.
next. None of them were his.
Buckets.
None of them were his special bucket. Come to me, Stanley. Find me. He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful. Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
What kind?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Oh god, here we go again.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose.
Sorry to ruin your
dressed,
work day again.
picked up her bucket
Look, I'm
of
having a
comfort and
stress day, you
security,
know.
and walked to
Bucket
her
Coon
place
is
of
no
work.
longer Bucket Coon. Oh, she's got the bucket!
Her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had
She's got the
stumbled through
bucket.
town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
She's got
Right
my bucket!
away, she knew what the problem was. This man had
He had no bucket, guys.
Of course, he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been
Bucket Coon
prevented
is in the
if
arms of
only
another.
he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter.
Oh,
But of
Bucket
course,
Coon at
she
home.
had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and
Give
total
me bucket or
clarity
give
on
me death,
everything.
apparently,
Heck
you know?
yes, she thought to herself. My
My life
life
kicks
kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to
What
work.
kind of whacked out shit is that? She backflipped all the way to work? What the fuck? What the fuck am I dealing with right now?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Meeting today. Figurine Finders Committee. Oh, it's literally... What? What are you whatting?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
The meeting room is over here. I need 2 more Somewhere that's red and blue. A large room with lots of boxes. Have I jumped out of a window yet? No. What we know. Okay, so I have blue and red room. A large room with lots of boxes. Also, what does it say now that I don't have a bucket?
No, oh, no, 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 not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Okay. I have not jumped out a window.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Blue. I can go through here again. I still feel so bad for the panda. Can I go through here yet? Oh. I can go in the elevator now. I couldn't do this before. Is there an up? We get elevator music in the elevator. Oh, that's creepy. Do y'all hear like the whispering of the Stanley? Quick headcanon for this game. That's just narrator singing at me now. This is forever. It is taking a long time. I had already pressed that. Okay. Let's try going down. Stitch style, mouth open. What? Okay, apparently it doesn't let me go up or down.
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone? This was too much for Stanley to take. Too much for any man to take.
And this time when
he
I
fell
walked
to
in the
his
office,
knees, bursting into half moans, half sobs, the guttural retching of life from a man denied any hope, any reason to keep going. Here on the floor, he lay prone, paralyzed by fear for nearly a full hour. But when at last he began to move about and survey the situation, he found a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could it mean? Was it a sign of hope for Stanley's future? Alas, it was not. For although this keypad guarded the terrible secret of Stanley's past, it had been assigned a 4-digit code so devious and so random that no man could ever hope to guess it. 2845. Statistically, nearly impossible. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Yeah, we were betrayed. Blue and red room. Yeah, Bucket Kun has died. I also get now weird dialogue when I go into the
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read
kinda wonder if he
Mind
was escape
Control
again.
Facility.
I wanted to bring Bucket through
Although
escape.
this passageway, but of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
What happens if I bring Bucket-kun that way? Do we just get smashed together? Because I know what this does.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What
need to go
horrible
right again.
secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
I've done this part so many times now. I'm just like,
Now the monitors jumped to life,
I wish it
their
was
true
Zoom
nature revealed.
when I like.
Each bore the
do the
number
same
of
thing
an
over.
employee in the building,
Yeah, yeah.
Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
My brain thought that was a dead person for a second and not wire.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible
I need to
to
start going to
believe
the right
it
again.
couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible?
No, I haven't
Had
actually.
he truly
I can
spent
select
his
one.
entire life utterly blind to the world?
What if me and Bucket-kun had decided to take over the world?
But here
I'll
was the
never have that
proof,
chance again.
the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place.
Yeah,
And
let's
as
do
the
one.
cold reality of his past began to sink in,
That's got a
Stanley
fat ton of garlic. You
decided that
cannot
this
have it. No,
machinery
ma'am.
would never again exert
No,
its
ma'am.
terrible power over another
Yes, it
human
will.
life. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that.
All right.
I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex.
Well,
How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in
not,
mind.
darling.
What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you
changed
try to
the
make
bottom
sense of
crust.
everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not?
Nope.
These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To
The
see
vibration
you
is
made
wild.
humble.
You're gonna
This
play
is not
Power
a
of the
challenge.
Ants boring
It's
along.
a tragedy.
Rena was tempted
You
to buy
wanted
it
to
on
control this world.
I
that's
would be
fine.
tempted, but
I'm
like I
going to
just
destroy
bought
it
other
first,
stuff.
so you
Oh.
can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever
Oh,
after.
that's wild. The shaking in the controller is fucking insane.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah. Bucket Coon! Bucket Coon is back, but I cannot grab Bucket Coon anymore. Sad.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
'Cause we've not
this
been this
was
way.
not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. What was it about this room that called so deeply and so... But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
With a lot of boxes, and then a red and blue room for the other collectible.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my
I
mistake.
deal with this shit again.
No.
Does he just
not the
reset
right.
me? Okay.
Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
No. Okay.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, We'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, hmm? Okay, from the top.
This is frustrating, just trying to find the things. Raina already said, if y'all got... Yeah, if we were ever able, we would probably just, like, go raid your
All of his
shit
co-workers
to,
were
like,
gone.
kidnap your stuff.
What could it mean?
Wait, did that open?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
No.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
All my legendary pals would be waiting.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room? with all the
Free
monitors?
me.
Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story.
It took me 30
Well, right
minutes
here
to
just
get
a
through this
minute ago.
section of the play.
I know
I'm
for
hoping
sure
it's
that
not
it's
making me
here
do it like,
somewhere.
entirely all over.
Okay, then. It's an
I
adventure.
think it is.
Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Okay, we went left. I was supposed to go right. I know what's left there. What in the fuck shit is this?
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise
I guess
you
it didn't
there
matter which way I
definitely
went, it's all
was a
fucked.
story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Climb on 430.
All of his co-workers were gone.
There's nothing I can do
What
over
could
here.
it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Can't do anything here. Yeah, not able to do anything there.
Okay, yep, it's worse.
Yep,
I might be
feeling this again.
remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
This game's gonna make me want to throw my controller. I guess they changed it.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
If we're back at this.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all.
I thought the
Is
lot
this
of
the
boxes
story?
might have been the other way.
I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win.
I've only gotten,
people
like,
win
what,
fair and square,
2?
and this was not
3
one of those
trophies for this?
situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow
Let
the
me
line.
out.
How simple is that? You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't
Ma'am.
wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Here we go again. I hate it every time.
Wait, cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember
I
it
haven't found
carefully.
shit with this
You
fern
won't
either.
want to miss anything.
It's bullshit.
Wait, what? We're back at the office?
Oh, to get the 10-year cheat.
No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no,
Change my
not
system
again,
time.
Line. How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you...
I know.
Oh, I
Not
can't
that big
take
of
this
the
anymore. To
achievement
hell
piece,
with it.
though.
Restart. You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild.
4:30?
Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley,
It's not in this room. I think it's in
I'm
the next
ready
section.
for it.
The door. Yeah, no. It says nah. It said nah, fam.
Oh, no, not you again.
I wish I could
Stanley,
change it.
I'd
Or
also
it's
like to
speed
veto
through it
the
if I've
line
already
from
done it.
having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine. Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here.
I refuse to walk in your
for a
circles.
minute.
Just talk.
Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our
thought it was the opposite way.
destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic.
Yeah, I'm not going
Come,
right again.
Stanley,
You can say
our
that.
destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this?
Can we speed this up? Can we speed this up?
The confusion ending. You're
We'll skip
telling
right here.
me
Kill
that's
me.
what this is? It's all
Kill
one
me.
giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well,
The warehouse.
who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't
Well, to anybody who
do
missed
it.
this one earlier.
And the timer stopped? Does that mean... Did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's
keep
where
hearing
we
the
are
words
right
journey
now.
and destination. Maybe
We'll
want to
find
get
out,
our
won't we?
fucking
Eventually.
tattoos more.
Well, in the meantime, if you...
There we go. Free me. All right. So you wanted me to try
All of
this.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the trophy? Click a door 5 times? Is that all you think a trophy is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now, suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing.
How many
true
times do I have to
effort for a
click this
noble
shit?
cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
You're just gonna make me keep clicking. That's what I'm getting at.
No. I'm still not feeling it. I want this trophy to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way no matter
He
the
mocks
cost.
you.
Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
This bitch. Also, the window thingy's not working. It's 417.
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
Isn't 437 through there? You asshole.
When
Cover.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
So I can't even circle back to 437. Does that mean I have to do this through multiple playthroughs? Red and blue, large room, lots of boxes. Oh. Ha! They boarded it up.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Is the warehouse downstairs? No. My brain hurts.
No, the warehouse is to the right door and then forward instead of taking left.
Wait, forward and then... Oh, fuck me. Okay.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once
looks like
again
we're getting the same old
stunned to
ending.
discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean, he wondered. Desperate for answers, he began turning. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Keep feeling like there should be something over there, and there's never. You said there are how many endings to this? 42? I've gotten, what, 2? Or do you count that as 4?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
You know what? I might die faster this way.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not
I didn't
shut.
get to come down this door.
Stanley
this
still
way with
had
Bucky
every
Coon.
opportunity to turn around and get
I'm really
back
sad,
on track.
actually. This was going to be my third choice.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
No, Bucky Coon. Let me down the hole. Free me. Can we speed this process up, please? Yeah, let's.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life.
Let me in.
Farewell, Stanley.
Let me in. Lady, go away. Let me in.
Farewell,
me.
Stanley, cried the narrator,
I forgot
as
about her.
Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Crush me.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever.
Well, Bryce, I
What
don't need to look at
exactly did
anything
the
in there.
narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Still not as bad as Baldur's Gate 3.
When
At least with
every
Baldur's
path
Gate
you can
3,
walk
like, you
has
can
been
definitely
created for
see
you
what you're
long in
coming up on.
advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Oh, that's an exit. Free me. Did we see this last time? What? Oh. What do the lights in the control room do? Looking for a business broker, partner with me in a very rewarding venture. Something if interested. I have a question for you, sir. And it is, what is your message for today? Free me. Free me. 17,000 different endings. I wouldn't doubt it.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another.
Let me hit the button.
How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not.
Yeah,
Sometimes
me and
these
Shane
things
played
cannot
that
be
game like
seen.
3 or 4 times with different stuff going.
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Squeesh. Box ending, you think is
Surprised you didn't actually try it.
to turn off my PlayStation? Nah, that's too much effort. Hmm? Oh, shit.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Bucket Coon.
The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as
So let's make it
Stanley
Bucket Coon
embraced
again.
the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to
You
his
said
chest
it's to the right and go
entered
straight?
the door on his left.
Or left and go straight for the...
For the warehouse and go right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
You got it, Bucket Coon. Want a cold one?
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Bucket Coon, best.
No, never mind.
Go straight here.
The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his
Oh, I've
left
gone straight
to go
here
back to
before.
the meeting room. No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
How do I get down there, though? Because last time it took me up. Do I just stay on it long?
Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do. Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Except for when he doesn't. Oh, should have I just like dropped? I feel like that's a death. Danger everywhere.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's
Look,
true, well,
I'm not taking
my
Bucket Coon
goodness,
again.
I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a
Bucket
bucket.
comes.
Please, step in here for a moment.
Oh. Well. I feel like I'm about to be robbed of Bucket Coon. Is this a bucket?
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing
This
you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin.
What is that fancy?
Item 1. Is this a bucket?
No, my bucket's only bucket.
Correct.
What?
It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
What? Me trying to be a smartass the game. Haha, you're right.
Item 2. Is this a bucket? Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Oh, God.
Item 3. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket.
I was seeing how many times it would try to justify the bucket not being a bucket.
Item 4. Is this a bucket? What? Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's
Oh,
an
fucking
enormous
idiot.
machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
Yes.
Is this a bucket?
Why do I feel like they faked me out here? Why do I feel like if I answer yes, it's correct?
This is a bucket.
Dear God.
There's more.
No.
This is a bucket.
How rude. I broke this game.
Item 6. Is this a bucket? Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
What?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. Should be around here somewhere.
I'm not giving you my bucket.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something.
My
and
bucket
therefore
is something.
nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that
How?
a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
No, my
You know
bucket is a
what?
bucket.
I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
This
Stanley,
is a bucket.
Dear God.
There's more.
all I ever
No.
had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go.
No. No! Bucket Coon,
What
no!
happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait,
Bucket
was
too powerful.
everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now.
Bucket Coon,
It's
say
delightful
something.
to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
Alright, so 4:37.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley went around touching every little
This is
thing
the
in the
door they
office,
told me to
but it
touch
didn't
after
make a
that
single
first one.
difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
Wait, was I in this room originally when I did like crazy knocking and they told me to go? No, because they told me to go to a different one. And then they told me to come to this one. Why don't you work? The show and with an E is so silly but so fucking good. I'm glad you like it. I'm mad. Alright, let's try the door, I guess.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
No. You're going through. I'm upset. Was this always here? Fuck that Evie. Yeah, fuck that Evie.
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home.
All is well with Bucket Coon. Without Bucket? I just picked up Bucket! It's delayed!
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
It's delayed. What do you want from me? Oh, hey, the broom closet's available again.
Oh, Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the
I came
bucket.
in here without the
You
bucket,
can feel
and
that,
it
can't
wanted
you?
the thing.
The aura of jealousy. It's as clear as day. This broom closet believed. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I think I already passed it, didn't I? I did. Because I went through the meeting. God damn it! Ah! Can I use the bucket to break out this window? Is there just a restart? Is there a restart? I don't want to press begin the game again. I'm scared. But I don't want to have to
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
You should eat a salad.
Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along?
Not supposed to be eating out.
Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
I can go down that hallway with the bucket though this time. I guess I can get that ending and then just not pick up Bucket Coon next time.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley and the bucket would both meet a violent death.
To do that.
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Fucking seriously.
At this point, Stanley and the bucket were narrowly walking forward.
I wanted to get the
into a
last
very
two
painful
thingies,
death
but
for each of them.
honestly don't think that's happening right now. Come, Bucket. We go together.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley and the bucket inched closer to their demise, Stanley reflected on how meaningless the bucket's warmth and comfort had turned out to be. To be sure, it puts the mind and the soul at ease to embrace the bucket, but what use is a sense of ease when you're about to be crushed to death? This is what Stanley thought to himself, and he sort of kicked himself for wasting so much time carrying a bucket everywhere.
Wow.
Farewell, Stanley.
You should be out of it now.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley and the bucket were led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, the bucket's life came to an end, as it was crushed violently to death.
What? Come, Bucket.
It was a shame, the death of such a magnificent bucket. It's true that all buckets are radiant in their own way, but this one stood above the rest. It was a glorious bucket to behold.
Welcomes you to the grand exhibit. You were standing on the precipice of knowledge, much like a bucket itself. Human minds frequently empty within, and a cavernous void. But through the use of the exhibit in front of you, the mind will become full and enriched and substantiated. Words. Knowledge of the bucket and its history is the only true knowledge we have. Will you take what you learn here out with you into the world? Will you accept with an open mind what may be challenging about the information on this exhibit? Will you change the lives of yourself and your loved ones as a result of this exhibit? Or will you turn a blind eye and continue to live as you were, in ignorance and darkness?
Can you see how arrogant it was for Stanley to take a bucket like this and to claim it for his own?
That's more than 25.
Can you see the hubris that blinded him? Can you see that the bucket is far more noble than Stanley will ever be in his short life?
Facts. A photograph of 25 buckets, the greatest number of buckets ever captured on camera. The photographer experienced catatonic shock for several weeks as a result of euphoria from exposure to this many buckets. That's more than 25. A bucket with 2 handles. Oh God. This bucket is depicted as having 2 handles. Such a design has never been created in real life, having been deemed too dangerous and recklessly experimental. Every year, dozens are put to death just for attempting it. Inferno bucket. A replica of the Inferno bucket, which in the medieval era was so powerfully alluring that it drove dozens of nations to war with one another for control of it. Billions died, and yet in spite of it all, the simple fact remains, no one can control a bucket. The stress bucket. The stress bucket, an analogy. Worrying, negative forecasting, negative thinking, lack of reassurance. Vulnerability equals size and strength of the bucket. Coping strategies equals holes. Rest and relaxation. Do something you enjoy. My dog just farted and scared herself. Welcome to that life, because I lived through that a lot. Cave drawing. Cave drawing. While we all know that buckets predate the existence of mankind, we do not know by how long. This cave drawing depicts early man's discovery of the practical uses of the bucket, by which time the bucket had already likely been around for several millennia. Notice in these drawings how the bucket is allowing itself to be used, having judged humanity to be worthy of its treasures. It was audible. Yep, so are pipers normally.
No man can own a bucket, and certainly not a bucket as dazzling to behold as this one. It is man who should kneel before the bucket.
The hanging bucket. This piece symbolizes the necessary relationship between bucket and humanity. However clear our grasp of the bucket may be, there is yet more that is always out of reach. This distance, inevitability, is for our own good. Oh. Mine. Mine.
But there is something we can do. Something we can do together, you and I, that will right this terrible wrong. Let Stanley die. Let him be crushed by the machine. Don't reset the game. Don't give him another opportunity to run off with another beautiful bucket. We can save the world's buckets from their treatment as tools and implements if only we let Stanley die together. The bucket shall take its place as ruler, as leader, as commander of a new world, a new vision.
Okay. Okay. The bucket was a beautiful ending. Okay. Do I want to try the warehouse? Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So we don't go into the meeting room. We go straight.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Right.
I'm throwing this. Yeetus. Beginning of the game again, does that just reset this instance?
It should be fine.
Screen. If this resets this whole game, guys, I'm eating this shit. Okay.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
Okay. So go right and not like I'm going to the meeting.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach, giddy in a way he had never known before. Was it this room? A connection, but
Could a
eager
man
to
love
get
a
back
room?
to business, Stanley took the first open
Okay,
door on
let's
his
go
left.
Straight.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Wanna do what?
Go to climb up those boxes right there.
I can't actually climb stuff.
Okay, look up to your left. Down.
So I was asking if there's a way to like change where this is going, or maybe if I.
You can walk up and walk over. No, not on the elevator. Just walk up and then walk over.
I'm confused.
Go back to the ramp with the boxes there.
Oh.
And then just walk over.
So now I just need the red.
You're getting close now, Stanley.
Red and
You've
blue
nearly
room.
gotten all of the Figler and Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last
Why are
one.
you changing
and
it?
then
It
the
got
first
worse.
number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them. And now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler and Marines.
Hate
None
that.
of us can.
Okay. So red and blue room. I guess I've got to go through that vent now. Or drop down. Is this a death choice I can make? Sheet.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of
It
the
is, in
story
fact.
and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Or you can ride the elevator and jump off on the walkway and do that ending without the bucket.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic. Like a combination of a much smaller version and a much larger version of the... But eager
Looks
to get
like
back
trouble.
to business, Stanley took the
Cat
first
napping on
open
you?
door on his left.
Good.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Alright, so this time I'm just dropping down and walking that way.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen
red and
carefully,
blue
this
room.
is important. Stanley
Fuck.
walked through the red door. And there it is, the last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where
And
so
nothing
many
else.
people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, You've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
All right. Red door, blue door. Red door, blue door. No. 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 Red or blue?
It's your choice. You do what you want in this game.
Blue.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
Is the fucking control room again?
You see? There's nothing here.
No.
I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Oh. Okay. So we got the orange hallway, middle hallway, or this one. And I still am just a left person.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door?
Do orange.
Well, it's
Sorry.
instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul.
Yeah, y'all are slightly delayed.
You can't teach
so.
that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
How many doors are there about to be?
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
What the fuck? 3% of players choose the worst 3% chose the blue door. That's not the one I meant to do. I'm going to do this one this time. Oh, I see. Well. Let me out. Well. He's not even talking to me. Help. Aldress, this is what you've done to me. No witty banter. No nothing. Just, you are trapped. You think it may have actually bugged?
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines. Those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
When Stanley found the collectibles. I think it did. You had to reset, and then he's like, nah, you're stuck here now. Kind of a thing.
Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
I'm not grabbing this again. It's about to tell me to get more. God damn it. It does. What is this? Okay.
And here was the second Stanley. You found this one all on your own just by poking around behind the boss's office. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
Yeah, I think after whatever this is, I'm gonna go ahead and call it, because I've been playing this for a while now.
Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini stand? Can you remember?
Ooh. No, actually. I want to say I did under the stairs first, and then I went up for the Bouse's bathroom.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here, under the stairs. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
I'm gonna rest after I finish this, because this is...
Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
Yeah, but this isn't the thing. Oh.
This was the 5th mini stand, and this one was really something special. It was in the warehouse. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Is it me jumping off after? What the fuck? How you found it by the narrator? Why is it a power? Why is it storage? Yeah, 7 EST. Oh my god, this is awful. That's... okay.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Get in. Or else. uh...
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here by the red and blue doors. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figly and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like. And then there was no more. Because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, Memory Zone.
Oh, okay. The threats worked, guys.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the Memory Zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
I just want to go home. I just want to be done.
Okay, yes, the room with the red and blue doors. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the Memory Zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
I can't grab him this time. I guess not. I just want to end.
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
Oh my god.
Yes, I love that video.
There was not one in a pink
Still
room.
don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room. These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have neutered the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Good God. Free
This
me.
was our second Figly. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Oh no. Let me out.
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then. But time does put a rosy filter on everything.
Oh, yes, the 2 doors.
Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one. And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember.
Pum pum.
Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This
Can I jump
is
out
the
the window
story
this time?
of a man named Stanley.
Or can you just go to title screen? Please. We're gonna quit the menu. I can't. Okay, guys. Well, that was whatever the fuck this is. Wild experience. I feel like my sanity has left me. I don't know what else to say about this one. Nowhere near the end. Well, I'll have to pick it up another day then, because I'm fucking tired. And I need a nap before I go. So, I'm gonna take a break here. This shit hurts my soul. My head is exploding right now. I at least made it to Stanley Parable 2. And have been stuck in there forever. But yeah, I might come back to this one. But for now, I'm gonna call it, and I will talk to you guys later. Thank you all for coming in and watching my madness grow, because that's what happened.